everybody. Hello, how are you this Sunday, June 7th, 2020? Yes, what day? 90th day, 120th day of Groundhog's Day. I was telling my kids that's kind of how it's starting to feel every day you wake up, and it's the same thing. So, happy summer. Yes. Oh, Grand is back with us. Fantastic. So good to see you. So let's see who we have here. This is great. Marcia, Sonia, Jody, Teresa. Oh, this is great. Grand, Diana Wright. Yes. So it is so good to see you. And I've got some great pictures for you today. I've got some from Diana Wright, and her land is so peaceful and beautiful. I'm so glad that they have stayed put because it's a gorgeous place. I have some pictures of my garden, which has grown unbelievably in the last couple weeks. So, oh, good job. You had a busy day, so you're resting before. Well, we're happy to see you, Grand. So, and do you run an embroidering business, or is it something you enjoy? Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. I had to wear green today because I wanted another chance to show you my necklace I made, because I'm real proud of that. Well, I wanted to tell you, let me tell you this before I forget. Oh, thank you. I wanted to tell you before I forget that Mark started his, we would normally be camping this at this point. We had set it up this year so that we'd be camping the first 2 weeks in June. But since the lake flooded and the COVID thing is still going on and our RV needed its engine repaired, we're here. But he did want to take a week off. And so I want to take a week off, and I hope you will not mind. But I am going to take this coming up week off. It means I will not be here Thursday night, and I will not be here Sunday. And I feel bad doing that, but I feel like I need to take a break. I don't want to burn out on this channel. And it does take a lot of time and effort. And I love you all, and I'm going to miss you. But I think it's a good time for me to kind of recharge my batteries, you know? Oh, thank you, Diana. Thank you, Grand. You know, what ends up happening is I love it so much and I go full bore. But if I don't take some time to recharge my batteries, I'm kind of a cave dweller, meaning I come off really friendly, but it takes a lot of energy for me to be outgoing and friendly. And I have to have some time where I pull in and just kind of recharge. And if I don't do that, then I think I'm not going to be fair to y'all. So, yep, I need to float around. What a wonderful way of describing that. But because I get in my head, it's like, okay, I've got to prepare for Thursday. I've got to prepare for Sunday. I've got to take a break. So I haven't worked anymore on my self-portrait quilt, but wait till you see what Jody has done on hers. It's exciting. So here is, I don't know if you can see the face much, but here is my self-portrait quilt. And I'm hoping to work on it this week, but working on it at my pace instead of, I have to have something ready by Thursday night. Because sometimes I just get all, overwhelmed. I hope I showed you. Yeah, I think I did show you how to fold this up and then draw what's in the box. Because that's the easiest way. When people say, I can't do that. I can't draw. It's like, yeah, you can. You just might have to do it a slightly different way. So anyway, so what I'm going to do is I won't be here Thursday and I won't be here Sunday, but I will be here then the next Thursday. Let me see what the date is. And I'll make a note of this, on our site too. So if I won't be here the 11th and I won't be here the 14th. but I will be here on the 18th. 18th. So I'll start back up the 18th and be here for the 21st. Ooh, I might have to pop in with a little reminder. Don't forget, we're going to have you know what? Let's push back the face mask contest until June 28th. The reason is, otherwise, next Sunday I'll be back would be the day we're going to choose the winner. And I need to keep promoting and reminding, because if you're like me, you go, oh, I have to do it sometime, and you forget the date. So we will make it official now that the competition for the face mask contest will be June 28th. So you have 21 days, 3 whole weeks to come up with your own face mask design. And whoever has the fan favorite face mask design, there's a bird outside looking for bugs on one of my plants. And it's just so charming. They work so hard. All I have to do is go to a cabinet and get groceries, or Mark runs to the grocery store and gets groceries. They have to work all day looking and hunting. No wonder they're not one of them's overweight. So anyway, but sorry that distracted me. Squirrel there, I was gone. But anyway, so we'll do the contest June 28th, because I want to give as many of you as possible a chance to win a gift certificate, a $10 gift certificate to the shop of your choice. Could be Missouri Star, could be Amazon, it could be Hancock's of Paducah, anyone you want, as long as they have yeah, as long as they have a gift certificate program. Could be Pineapple Fabrics, my favorite. So, okay, could be Keepsake Quilting, their sister shop. So anyway, but hi, Cheryl, our sunshine is here. And I hope Nadine checks in sometime, our other sunshine, and I want to tell her I love her and I miss her. And I forgot the name now. It's a German name, something like Bundesliga, and I apologize for getting it wrong. But the German hockey teams have started back up, and every one of the soccer players, I hope I said soccer players came out and took a knee and in support. And they also showed the camera, and the coaches and stuff had all taken a knee on the sidelines. How wonderful. And, and then seeing the protest, peaceful protest in London. And please understand, all these protests that are going on right now are so peaceful. There's so much progress being made. There's so much communication between all of the different parties. And even what our NFL commissioner came out and said he was wrong, and that taking a knee was an honorable form of protest that is needed. So I wanted to tell Nadine, thank you. Thank you to Germans. Thank you to all United Kingdomers. Thank you, Paris. Thank you for the support for what our country's going through. It was painful and scary, but it was for a good reason, and it's lasting because there must be change made, and I'm so tickled. So thank you. I didn't mean to get into politics, but this is more than politics. This is our future. So thank you. All right. Yeah, Houston is especially touchy because Mr. Floyd had lived there so long. But it's these protests are creating so much good. And you know what? Nothing ever changes until it's forced to change. That's just human nature. It's just human nature. So today, I don't really have all that much to do with you. I haven't planned a whole lot. I wanted to say I've gotten 8 blocks out of the 13. So please, anyone else who's signed up to make blocks, I haven't checked yet to see which ones I haven't gotten, but please check and make sure that if you have sent me a block, I'll read to you the ones I got because we do want to get these in now. So I've got Pat Fry's, I've got Susan Smith, I've got Annette Parsons, I've got Michelle Lang's, I've got Diana Wright's, Sue Smith's block, and Cheryl Hogan's. So if I don't have your block, if I didn't just mention your block and you sent me one, just shoot me an email to let me know. Otherwise, if you're still working on them, get them done because we're excited to get them, okay? And I'll leave these set up here just to remind you. I want to show you something cute that I got the other day. I got this in. They had them on sale. When I got my batting, they had a couple of these on sale. And Mark says, honey, if you put this outside, it's going to come apart. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint it within an inch of its life and then seal it within an inch of its life. And I'm going to spray sealer inside. But I just love little birdhouses. And I'm going to paint it and hang it up with my flowers. I love this kind of stuff. And this is the kind of stuff. This was less than $4. This is the kind of stuff that keeps me excited, keeps me enjoying life. And so now I'll get out my acrylics and I'll go to town decorating this and then hang it outside. If it only lasts a season, that's okay. But I'm going to see if I can't paint it up. And I'll show you once I've done it. Oh, yes, I will paint a heart on it. Isn't that wonderful? So I wanted to show you that. And then, I know what I'll show you. I will show you that I got this quilt bound and now just have to do the hand part. And I'll also show you where I fixed the wrinkles. So it's hard to find it once you fix them. But I took it out and fixed the wrinkles. So, it was important to do that. And I had to do it before I put the binding on. So I will give you, in a few minutes, I'm going to just do a little brief tutorial on binding. Because it's something that we all have to do. But sometimes we're not quite sure exactly what's expected of us. So, hi, Sherry. It is so good to see you. So I do remember. Yes. Okay. Thank you for telling me, Cheryl. Let me write it down because I'll forget. But I got Cheryl's already, so I just need to find it. All right. Then that means I've kind of stuck it somewhere. And I have a feeling it's right over on that table right there. So thank you. This is great. This is what I needed. It's like, okay, where are things missing? Okay. I've been working this week. You know me, Cheryl. I've been working this week on my Hobbit house. And let's show you what I've gotten done. I went ahead. The background just didn't have enough blue. So I went ahead and got out my ink tints. And now look at that. I left a few places as clouds. See how I kind of drew around them? Then I sewed down my crows. And I put fancy yarns on the sun. All right. I did this. I was trying to do everything by hand because that's how, it's kind of a slow down and enjoy it moment. It's hard to slow down for me, especially when I have to have something to show y'all every time. But I sewed those on by hand. I did the tree by hand. I did the swing by hand. But then I came down this morning, and you can see I started doing the edging around the house by hand. But then I did the smoke out of the chimney. That's netting or tulle netting. And then I started sewing some of these extra things. The shiny grasses I did by hand, but then it's like, you know what? I just have to get this done. So, and you want it primitive, you want it over the top, you want it's a fantasy. It's not supposed to be real. And so I'm going to come up with heavy threads and do like little, stitches across the sky. Let me show you the one I did when I took my class from Susan Edmondson. And you see, we embellished the house. We did the edges. We did bushes with lazy daisy stitches and knots, French knots. And I did rain in the sky with heavy stitches. And then I just put layers and layers of all kinds of stuff down there. And we just sewed it on. We just sewed it on for fun. And I even did those little funny beads that were supposed to be rocks. So the more, and it's so funny because when I did this class, I thought, I don't know if this is for me. But now, a couple years later, I like this. I like embellishing. I like sitting around and putzing with it. I like going over the top with it. And doesn't it make it cute? If I had been restrained or if I had been too literal, it'd be boring. And she told us to cut the base piece of fabric in an odd shape. She said, I don't want it square or rectangle, so cut it odd. I did, and it works. It just works. And this hangs on the door where I have my long arm frame. So remember, this is the example. And this class was taught by Sherry Edmondson. And did I say her name right? Susan Edmondson. And I happened to glance at Sherry's name. But anyway, Susan Edmondson. And don't forget, you can go to the Mancuso. The class starts June. The classes are June 25th and 26th. Go look right away. Sign up for your class. You do have to pay. They're not free. And a lot of the teachers will mail you the kits, so you don't even have to go shopping to take their class. Susan Edmondson is teaching 3 classes, I believe. And she's so much fun. I mean, you have to be a fun personality to dream up these things. So I'm just partially there on this one. It needs a whole lot more stuff, but I'm going to do decorative stitching into thatch to make it look more like thatch. I'm going to outline the stones in the chimney so you can tell it's really a stone chimney. I'm going to outline the windows and the shutters. Like these shutters, I'll put like they're separate boards. Then I'm going to put panes in the window. I'm going to put the muntins on the door window. But I've got a lot more. I've got some of this yarn to go in. I'm even going to put some green sequins in the grass. So once I get all of the layers, I may put some of this color in the grass, and I just cut it in strips and kind of twist it and sew it in. That's all it is just playing. Some of it, I just did a stitch down the middle and gathered it. And you can't see it now. I'll put so much stuff in it. But this stuff frayed. Look at that. It frayed so it looks like grass. So I made sure I cut it and kind of pulled it so it would be frayed. And there you go. I've got netting. I found some olive green netting or light olive. And You like my little swing hanging on the tree? So I just had a good time, and I've got a lot more to do. I even saved, here's my idea tub right here. This is my idea tub. And I went around the house and looked for stuff. And here, candle wicking yarn, or candle wicking thread, DNC floss. I got some of this I put on the tree. I've got this. I'm not sure. I might put it on the roof with the thatch. I was cutting out some fabric, and I first tore it into long strips, and this is the threads from that. So I think, hi. Oh, no, that's fine. Hello. So, Mariella, it's so good to see you. Oh, let me see what y'all are talking about. I might have missed something. In fact, I see sad news, and I've got sad news too, because my Miss Jenny Byer is closing her brick and mortar shop. But yes, I learned it yesterday, and it broke my heart, but I totally understand. And don't panic. For most of you, it won't affect you. For people like me who used to love to go in her shop and hope to get a chance to see her, which I did about 50% of the time, it's an ending of an era. And the sad thing is the shop's still closed because of the coronavirus. And even if I wanted to, I couldn't go up and take one more look at her shop. I have photos I've taken in the past. And what I'll do is the next time I'm on here, I'll do a little, I'll show you what I've taken in the past. In fact, if you go to my videos, I did a video of her shop. And, you know, her husband passed away in January. That changes your life. That changes your life. And like she said, she's going to be 80 this year. She's been remarkable. She didn't open her shop until she was 60. So, you know, it's amazing. She's an amazing woman. She wants to still do her tours where she kind of leads a tour to different places like Bali or Africa to study different types of fabrics and fabric dyeing techniques and things. She still wants to do that. She still wants to design her fabric lines. She still wants to design quilts. So by August, they're going to be moved. They're going to leave the shop they're in. And she was right. The shop is tiny. And it wasn't conducive to ever open with any kind of personal distancing space. So she's going to move to a shop. She's going to keep a mail order business. And she's even going to allow personal pickup. So from that standpoint, you know, the people locally still have some place to go, although I'm sure it'd be just walk up to the door and get your package. But I don't blame her. She said for me to have seen her probably more than 50%, maybe almost 75% of the time I stopped at her shop, that's a huge commitment. And then you take into account her fabric designing time, her tours. She'd like to do more sewing for herself. And I don't know how she's done it. I don't know how she's done it. So it was one of those things where she said the coronavirus kind of gave her the push to do what she knows she needed to do. It was time. It was time. And I was very fortunate that in 2009, I finally got to go to one of her symposiums down in Hilton Head. And it was so wonderful. And it was more money than I ever thought I would be able to spend. But it was so wonderful, and I'm so glad I did it. And I learned so much. And so on one hand, there is a little part of me that's sad because, you know, it's like every time I would go to see my son, I thought, oh, I'm going to plan a trip, stop by and see Jenny. And Mark even said, oh, gosh, you know, because I'm going to have to go up at some point to do hearing stuff, court stuff. Most of you know what that's about. And he said, we won't be able to stop up there on the way. So it makes me a little bit sad, but maybe once they get the mail order place up and running, I'll put an order in and say, I'll be by on this day to get it. Is that all right? And, but I'm going to miss people like Linda, who were in the shop, that were just her steadfast people and were so kind to me. So anyway, that is Jenny Beyer. That's the Jenny Beyer news, but she's still going to have her newsletter. She's still going to have her sales. She's still going to have all of that. The best part of Jenny is still there. She's just backing off from the daily grind of running a storefront. I mean, that's a whole lot of work. A whole lot of work. She had one team just for the mail orders, one team to run the store. Then classes and stuff they gave, it was a lot. So, what can you do? But she's a doll baby. She is an absolute doll baby. Yes, thank goodness. I mean, her videos, it's like getting a private lesson from her, from the comfort of your own home. Oh, Sonia's here. Yes, Sonia, aren't you relieved to hear that, because she is everything. Sonia and I, we're her, like, I don't know, there are probably a few other of you too that are huge fans. But Sonia and I kind of live and breathe Jenny Beyer, fabrics, designs, all of that. So it's very nice. Very, very nice. All right. Yep, Sonia, it's a shame because I was always hoping one day Sonia and I would take a road trip. But you know what, Sonia? Let's comfort ourselves by, as soon as we can, putting in a nice big Jenny Beyer order. Don't you think that's a fitting thing? And letting her know, Jenny, we're still there for you, hon. We're still out here and we love you. So, yeah, I know. I feel the same way, Diana. It's like when I'm good enough. I've had her Moonglow quilt for about 18 years. I thought when I get good enough, I'll make the quilt. But you know what? I need to go ahead and just jump in, I mean, like I told you, I saw her award-winning quilts, and I saw a couple little seams that didn't quite show up or match up, And, they were very minor. Her work is exquisite. And this was 40 years ago at the beginning of her career. But once I saw that, I thought, it's not about being perfect. It's about making something of beauty that really lasts long after you're gone. So it's a good thing. It's a good thing. All right. So anyway, but I keep these little baskets near. This is a little project basket. Now, I have my foam core boards made into trays that I carry things around with down here. But when I go up and down the stairs, I usually put it in this mini laundry basket. Next time if I ever get to go back to the dollar store, I'm going to get some more of these. But this way, as I go through, I keep all of my little things like this upstairs in a container. But then I have my threads, some upstairs, some downstairs. And, let me show you what's in this again. But I just gather up anything I think I may use. I use this to sew the yarn down, to couch the yarn down in the tree. Couching is where you use thread to sew down a yarn. So this has been couched down by hand, and this, I don't know if you would just, couching I normally think about is kind of when you go over, like you sew back and forth over it. Where this is, I actually sewed right in the middle of the stuff. But there was another place I had done some couching also, and now I've forgotten what it was. But anyway, but I just keep everything. Like I said, this is just the thread from tearing fabric. But I found some cool stuff. This is a metallic DMC. And I love that. So, and anywhere I can, I love adding the bling. This is a woolly nylon with some glitter in it. And then this is the candle wicking yarn. I sewed a lot down with this because it's nice and thick. But anyway, anything that I have, any little bits and pieces, I stick in this basket with scraps of yarn, the fabric that I might add to it. But then I carry this around and then use it as I need to. So, let me put all my stuff in really quickly. And I think, yes, I was going to show you, I was going to sew this down and show you. I'm going to do it by machine. It is warm outside today. I can tell the difference in here. It is very, very warm. So, all right, let's see. So what I'm going to do is some couching right now. And I'm going to come in here with this yarn. Let me get the lamp on so you can see really good. Because the thing I love about the first one I made is how heavily we put everything on. And she had to keep encouraging me to build up all the layers. But now when you look at it, it's so much for the eye to take in. And it actually looks like a hill where you've got all kinds of different things growing all the way up the hill. So I'm having to make myself because it's not something I'm normally comfortable with. But I know that it's going to mean everything for how it comes out. So, whoops, this didn't quite get down, so let me sew this down. But anyway, be thinking about the face mask that you're going to embellish. I've got a couple really fun ideas thought of, and I cannot wait. Okay, so I stitched that back down. Now, this was one of these fuzzy yarns, and sometimes when you stitch it down, it will catch the little hairs. So all you do is come along and pull them back out. You can use a little hair comb. You can use this little seam ripper, anything with a little point. Just pull the hairs back out. Sometimes you can use your fingernails. Look at this. And just pull the hairs back out. But I did a zigzag stitch because I wanted to really nail it down. But then I've got to come back and pull out the threads. So, all right. Now, let's do this one. So, I'm going to come in right above where I put the netting. Whoops. Sorry about that. I'm going to come in. Y'all are so cute. I love seeing y'all chat. I absolutely love it. That's the community part of us that has been so amazing. I was telling my girls the other day, I don't know if I could have gotten through this COVID stuff without you all. You really give me a reason to get up in the morning and get busy and get things done. See how easy it is to couch it down? Whoops. Okay, let me get it just right, guys. Whoops, too far in. Okay. But it's very easy to do this, and you can use a matching thread. I'm using the YLI invisible thread. Okay. Whoops, it got caught. It's been getting caught on the foot, and I don't know why. Let me just break that loose. All right, now I'm going to turn it around and come back the other way. Okay. Now, somewhere in the feet that I have, I'm sure I have a couching foot, but I haven't gone to look for it. I would love to think that during my week off that I'm going to clean up this room and find everything again, but I'm not promising that because I just might need to read a bunch of books. I might just need to read and have fun. Okay, I'm going to come down to about here. I don't want to cover up my swing. Then I'm going to spin this back around. And come back this way. And you just layer this. You layer it. If I think it starts looking too dark here, then I'll layer a bright color on top of it. And put my needle down and spin it around again. I already earlier did a piece of the blue yarn up here, and I didn't know what I thought of it, but I said, you know what? It's not, it's going to be about the whole, not just one particular yarn. And I want this to be fantasy, and in fact, I might put some of this. I think I'm going to stop it here and put some of this over the thatched roof. It is so cute. I think it'll be perfect, like a moss trying to grow on the thatched roof. So, finish off that. Okay, now I'm going to start this on the roof. I love this yarn. This is some that my wonderful sister-in-law gave to me when I asked for little bits and bobs of things they could no longer use. And don't forget, that's my little hint for the day, is if you want to do art quilting, there's two things you can do. Number one, go to an embroiderer and ask for any threads they don't like. Do they want to get rid of any of their thread population? Because embroiderers have tons of great threads. Then the other thing I would recommend to be an art quilter is go to a knitting friend and say, hey, do you have any yarns or bits or scraps of yarns? Or could you save me yarns in the future? But they all had stuff like this that they thought they would like, that they didn't, and they were happy to give it away to me. So, look at that. That is so cute. Whoops, hold on. I'm going to need to back up. I love putting that yarn on the top of the house. And here it is in the grass, too. It'll kind of look like a patch of moss. So, yeah, do your best, Wine. Oh, thank you, Grand. I try to, I always feel like it. I really do feel this, that I'm sitting and visiting with friends. So, and thank you. Y'all are very important to me. I've had other people say they like to just put me on to listen to. So thank you. It's nice because once my kids were grown, it's like, who do I get to listen to me? Even, then they had to. But anyway, I'm going to put a strip of this through here now, too. Whoops, that one didn't get tied down. I'll have to go back in a bit and get that tied down. Anyway, I want you all to continue to stay safe. And here in North Carolina, we've had an explosion of cases. Sadly, because they opened up a little too soon for here. And it makes me very sad that we are in my little county, we have been growing. I live in Winston-Salem, and we've had a few record days of growth, and our deaths have tripled. So Mark and I still continue to be very careful, very safe. I go driving if I have to, but I don't stop anywhere. Sometimes I just feel like I have to get out. And luckily, we live not far from the blue. Oh, wow. See how, look at what we're adding. Look at the interest we've already added. And yes, here in North Carolina, we keep making the national news. It's really breaking my heart. And I'm very proud of our governor because the president tried to tell him that he wanted to have the convention in Charlotte, which is only 2 hours away, and he wanted no restrictions. And the governor said, no, I have to have restrictions. We're not going to, by August, we're not going to be open to no restrictions. So hopefully now they'll find a different place and go away. But I like this. I might leave this green. It's nice to have a little patch of green. But I like all of this interest. Now you see where that really adds. I think I'm going to get some more of this and kind of do another strand down here. Hold on just a moment, please. But, nope. I mean, some people might want to pretend that there is no problem, but just ask one of the families that's planning the funeral, and you'll find there is a problem. So, oh, I don't know where that other, oh, I know where I think I can find it. I almost used this. It's a funny coppery brown tool. I mean, lame. And I almost used that. Oh, Sherry. Honey, that's terrible. 1,000 a day. Wow. Yeah, our state, I'm trying to think. I know my little county was 100 a day. And statewide, we might be a little close to that too. It's breaking my heart. I am not going to go out. I am not going to take a chance because I've got a grandbaby coming, and I want to see my new grandbaby. Although it might be months before I can actually see him. He'll be here in 2 months, and I don't think we're going to be able to go up or get into the hospital at that point either. Okay, so put another strand of this. All right. I love these eyelash yarns, and I know they were difficult for knitters to knit with, but my gosh, they are wonderful for art quilting. And this is just an exercise in fun. Just please think about trying something like this because it's just for fun. Now take a look. See, every layer that I add just gives it another touch. In fact, let me figure out real quick where I can put this. Maybe I'll put a little bit right over here. I'm going to have to do a nice wide zigzag to get it over these. You have to be careful with sequins because sometimes they will, they can break your sewing machine needle. Now, I have no idea what's green and shiny out in nature, but guess what? Hobbits aren't real either. And you know what? It's okay. This is the fun thing is as women, it's been a long time since most of us had a chance to just play. And I'm all about playing. I'm all about playing. So Michelle, how are your grandbabies? Michelle has gorgeous grandchildren. From a son who's like 6'7", and his wife is maybe 5'3" or 5'4". And in fact, I need to ask Michelle, how tall is that grandson going to be? Oh, they're very good. Okay, here we go. I just put sequins on my Hobbit land. You know what? I just got thinking about something. I could even put a little strip of blue sequins to look like a little stream. Ooh, I'm going to be doing that too. All right. Well, I think, I can put maybe some things like this on soon. I'm going to do some hand embroidery all around here. Probably put a lot of flowers. I'm going to put flowers just here and there, everywhere. And then I'm going to hand embroider the sky. I'm going to finish doing this cute little X, like a cross stitch thing here. I'm going to do some hand stitching here. I might do a little log look here, maybe with some white or off-white DMC very thickly. Then I'm going to outline all these, outline the window. I'm going to find a cute little button for the doorknob. And I might even hand stitch a little lantern beside the door. Oh, blue foil. What a great idea. I do have that blue foil because I love saving all of that. All right. So as you can see, last week I started out with a piece of muslin. Oh, and see how I cut the shape to make it different? And I'm going to do all the stitching, and then I will take and put a backing on, a fun, exciting backing, and then I will bring it around over and tuck under, and then I will do a blanket stitch, just like I did this one. And then I'm going to try to figure out I think I'm going to sew a little circle, a plastic circle here so I can have a hanger, because I'm going to want to hang this one up as well. In fact, I like this better. I love, and this made it for me. It's funny how just one little thing. Oh, what a great idea, Jody. What a great. Oh, Marsha, that's a tall one. My goodness. But anyway, do you see how it starts becoming magical? And I've got charms to put in here too. I found some cute little charms, but I'm not sure. Let me see if I can find them. But these are just little scraps of fabric, little scraps out of my doodad. Oh my goodness, Mariella. And then look at these cute, let me put them on a lighter color. I collect little charms. I can buy them off eBay for just a couple of dollars. And they come from China where I can afford things. I thought I might want to put an apple on the apple tree. I have stars if I want to put them in the sky. Look at this. I can sit this owl. Isn't that cute? And I can sit him up in this tree. Then I found a cute moon. Look at this bronze one. This, I thought, this little, I could put that, and that could be like a little lantern. Here are some leaves. I just pulled out anything that I thought may work. So, I could even put this on the thing or maybe up here to decorate the house. So this is my fantasy world. And I could even put the owl up on the roof. But you see how, just look in your jewelry box, look in your junk drawers, find cute little things that you can embellish this with. Because what you're doing is it's a fabric shadow box of sorts. It's a fabric shadow box of sorts, and you can just add anything. She's only 5 feet. Wow. And Jared's 6'7". And boy, do they make most gorgeous babies. Goodness gracious. I have a button here, but that's too big for the doorknob. So I will find something smaller. But anyway, I just wanted to show you that. But look around and see what you have that you have saved. Because we all have those funny little odds and ends. Sometimes at the bottom of your sewing basket, you might have dropped in a little something. So you like using it above the door? Okay, great idea. All right. So anyway, here is where I am, and my little world is starting to come together. And don't forget, I've got my smoke here with a little piece of twisted tulle netting. So I can't wait, though. When this is really going to come alive, when I start outlining the stones and finishing decorative stitches everywhere. So, and like thatching, I'll this starts the thatching, and I'll use a lighter color to increase that look. So, and I am going to find blue sequins and put along here and this will now become a stream. All right. So that's that. I hope you're happy with that. I love showing you little things that you can play with that don't cost much money, that are very, very simple, easy to use. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start working on this binding. Just while we chat, and just to kind of give you a little reminder tutorial for binding. All right, I think I might need that, but let's see. Oop. All right, I've just got black thread, nothing fancy, too big of a needle, good size. I like a needle just about this long. Don't want it too big or too long. If the needle's too thick, that's a lot of pushing through the fabric. So I want something nice and sharp. And this has a golden eye, so it's easier to thread the needle. And I'm going to tell you right now, I break the rules. I put a long thread on there. The reason I do that is because I don't like stopping and rethreading a needle. Oh, flange binding. That's neat. That is neat. Okay. Okay, pull the thread down to knot it. I don't know. Let me back this up a little bit more. Okay, I don't know if you saw how I did that. So let me cut it and knot it again for you. Yeah, I can't stand to use, they say, never more than 18 inches. Baloney. That's fine if that works for you. Good job. So what I do is I have the thread on my finger like this. I put the needle on it. Then I take, and I've got my finger real tight holding the thread and the needle. Now I do more wraps than most people because I like a big long knot. I hate when I tighten up the thread in my fabric and it pops through. So I just slowly pull it through until I've got a knot on the end. And if the tail is too long, like this tail is a 1/2 inch, then just nip it off to like 1/8 of an inch. All right. Normally I use little clips, but I didn't bring them downstairs. They're upstairs. So what I'm going to do here is just use some pins. Okay. And I'm going to start pretty close to a corner so that you don't have to drift off to sleep. Now, if I did, let me see. Normally, what I would like to do with this, but I'm not sure if I have it down here, is I like using a thread heaven or a piece of wax. And I don't think I have, let me see. Let me see what I can find. Okay. Okay. Well, I don't see any wax or as you can tell, I don't do hand sewing down here. I do hand sewing up in my recliner in front of the television. All right, so I'm just going to fold over. Normally, I like little hair clips. You can get the little metal hair clips or the new fashioned clips that you see, but they can be expensive. You can find off brands on eBay that are a lot cheaper. But sorry, I know that I'm always talking about the price of things, but I live on a fixed budget, and that's important to me. We used to always pin them back in the day, but boy, it's nice having clips and not having your hands stuck, because they will be. You will, and as you can see on the front, this is going to be a smaller binding than I'm used to, because I want it to be more hidden. All right, so now the problem I have with this, and I do apologize, is it's a black binding and black thread, but I'm going to get some light going here and we'll see if you can see it. I'm going to go underneath here and bury my knot. Okay. I'm going to bury the knot under there. Then I come back up. And what I do is, imagine I'm a fish. I swim under the water. Then I come up here to get a breath of air. Okay, I've got my breath of air. So now I go back down in the same area, swim under the water, come up for another breath of air. See what I'm doing? Then go straight back down, then swim under the water, come up here near the edge for a breath of air. And this is how I do my slip stitches that are just hidden away. So I am underneath the fabric as I do my distancing underneath, and then I anchor the top in place. So that way you don't see stitches. So, oh, thank you, Diana. I always think, how can I let them know? But you just swim under the water. You come up just for a breath of air, go straight back down, go under the water again, come up. And what you can tell is you cannot see my stitches. They are totally hidden, totally hidden. And that's what I like. You always use a thread to match your binding, not the quilt back, the binding. And it's so easy once you get used to the rhythm of doing it this way. It's so easy that you can move along pretty quickly. And I only put one stitch on at a time and then pull the thread through, because I don't want to have to tighten it down on it so hard that it'll pucker. I don't have tension problems this way. But see, it's a nice little binding that won't interfere with what I'm trying to show. I'll go ahead and take this pin out because it had pinned the fabric where it showed badly. Okay, let me see. All right, so I'm getting close to the corner, and I'll show you what the corner looks like, how I do the corner. But you notice I've got the back of the quilt facing up because you sew it by machine to the front, then flip it over, hand sew it on the back. All right, I'm coming to the front. And what I'm going to do is I flip it inside out. Flip this corner inside out. Then look at all this junk in the corner. That's hard to sew around. So I'm going to nip off these threads first so I can see what I'm doing. Then right here, I've got all this bulk and I don't need it. So I'm going to cut half of it off. See that? Now I've got a nice, neat little corner underneath. Now, I'm going to fold it back over. And I'm going to, whoops, let me cut this little thread so you don't get confused. I'm going to push this down. Let me bring you down in the, yeah, this is better. Okay, push this down like this. Push it all the way to the top because I want to get a perfect miter. Okay? And try to keep, don't round your corners. Try to keep them nice and 45-degree angle. This might not be the best corner to show you, but anyway, so when you push this flat all the way to that edge, then when you fold this down, you have a 45-degree miter. And it's very careful. Even if it doesn't want to fold perfectly, you force it. Remember, you're the boss. You bought this fabric, you're sewing this fabric, so you make it happen. So keeping it nice and crisp and even. Okay. That started to sound like a Christmas song. Okay, here we go. Then I'm going to come and take a little tuck right here in the corner to hold these edges together, like that. See how I pulled them together nice and good? Then while I'm here, I'm going to go up carefully and tuck this miter closed. If you ever enter a quilt in a quilt show, they will check that. And it's not because they're mean. It's because these quilts are so amazing. It has to be little things like this that give one person an edge over another. And then what I would do if I wasn't here with y'all right now is I'd go through the needle through and fix this side just perfect. But the problem is this needs a lot of folding before I can get this right. But normally I do both sides at once by going through the fabric like this, but you have to go through right at the right point. So now I'm going to come back down by finishing this stitch off at the top and coming underneath and back down to where I need to be and not pulling it too tight. And then I start back down this edge. So, whoops, I've got a little tiny thread there in the way. Now where I came through on the blue part. So I'm going to come back up to the black part here. And now I'm ready to go. I always start with my thread on the binding itself. So now I go right back down at that same area, then go underneath, then come up, take a little bite, come up, and then go straight back down, then go underneath, come up, go straight back down, then come underneath and come up. You see what I'm doing? So this way, when you finish, and I'm going to knot off just to show you, even though I'm not nearly done, I want to be able to show you. All right. I'll do just a few more stitches. I'm going underneath, and there's even quilting here. That's not a problem. You just make sure you're in between the layers. Don't come through to the other side. It will show. And you come up for your little bit of air, go straight back down, and shoot underneath again. And that way you can remember, because I've seen people who do their binding and they don't realize to make the stitch that actually takes them to the next place underneath the fabrics. They'll leave it laying here along the binding. And any stitch, when that sits out like that, it's more likely to be torn or cut, and then you'll lose your binding. So it's important to have that running stitch, a stitch that takes you to the next place, hidden in between the fabric and the batting. Okay, so now I'm going to take one more stitch and show you how would I knot off. Okay, so I'm going to take one more stitch, go straight back down, come up here. Now, just to make sure this doesn't open or whatever, I'm going to just take one more. I'm going to go in the blue, come back through the black, just a tiny thread, and just make a straight stay in place stitch. So watch. See, it kind of holds its place. Now what I'm going to do is hold the thread in my hand here. I'm going to run the needle around it and under it and back out and pull a knot reasonably close. There, right there, that knot. Pull it reasonably close. But now that's not nearly big enough to hold it, so I'm going to do another one to make it bigger. I'm going to show you that one more time. You take and hold the thread like this. You take your needle, you go around it like that. Then what I'm going to do is with this hand, I take and go under that loop. Go under the loop and grab the base of that thread. Then pull the loop tightly, sliding that knot to the bottom. Now, do you see how big that knot is? That knot will hold. So what I do now is I take and put my thread underneath out of sight, because I'm going to pull this knot down and under and come out over here. So I want it, it can't be right at the edge. It has to be back a little. And watch what I do. I'll pull this until that knot goes around, and in this, now it's not here anymore. It's inside the fabric. See? You can't see it. Then I go here and I nip it. So now that knot is tucked under this binding, in this fabric, underneath, so it will not bother you anymore. It's gone. See? It's, whoops. Nope, it's still gone. It's still gone. That's just a little bit of thread. So anyway, that's how you do that. And I hope that made sense. Did that make sense? But this way, you just have a very neat and tidy binding. And this is stitched down, and you want both sides to be stitched down. So I hope that helps you a little bit. It's easy to do a binding. It just takes time. Now, once you get used to that stitch, you can watch TV you won't have to worry about anything because it's so easy to do. But it's just at first learning how. You just got to be a little bit careful. And another thing, too, let me tell you, let me bring you back up here. Okay. Sometimes we don't teach enough about binding. And now I know that there's more I can teach you about binding, and I will one day. Like, how do you join the ends and all of that? And I will do that another day. But there's these little, it's almost like a magic club. There's these little teeny tidbits of information that make binding easy and enjoyable. I actually enjoy it. I've gotten, how do I say it? I've gotten so good at it. I've been doing it so long. And it now becomes comforting because I can sit and watch TV and keep my hands busy. And so the only problem is in the summertime, sometimes having that quilt on your lap is a little hot. But what I do then is put a lap desk and have it so it's not laying on my lap. All right. Now, what I was going to tell you is now you have the rest of this thread needle. Teach yourself a habit of always knotting your needle, even if you're not planning on using it right then. Knot your needle, not your thread. Don't knot your needle, knot your thread as soon as you clip it. The reason is that way when you need a needle fast or a threaded needle, it's already ready for you to go. There's nothing worse than holding together just the joint you need to sew together, and you run your thread through, and there's no knot. It just comes all the way through. Then you have to let go what you had perfectly aligned in your hand and knot your thread. So I was taught this by a almost 90-year-old woman 30 years ago, and I still remember it because it's still true. So there we go. All right. Now, yes, you can find it. So, oh, now I never thought of that because I do iron my binding in half, and I never thought about that way it makes it look fuller. I didn't know that. I do know that there's a little show I judge, and I'm not a certified judge, but I have studied the certification, all the information with it. And when all else fails, they will check your binding to make sure that it's evenly filled all the way around. So if you're going to enter your quilt in a show and you cut your batting and your fabric too close, get that back and stick it in the binding because they will feel to make sure that it's evenly filled. And it makes a difference. Believe it or not, I have turned to that when I judge the show. Sometimes you go to feel a binding and there's nothing there. So, I tell you, the things that we learn from each other are the best. But anyway, so now that I'm getting the binding on this quilt, it will be totally done. I have run out of places to hang quilts. So I may use, you know what? I haven't used my guest room, but I told Mark we may be putting them down the staircase to come down here because now that I've got my series started, a real series, I've been wanting to do a series for about 4 or 5 years. Now that I've really got my series going about outer space things, I can't wait. I'm really going to have a series. So that's neat. Oh, hi, Cheryl's back. Thank goodness. Yeah, Diana Wright is so talented, and she's such an amazing quilter. And I love it when any of you give us your tips and your advice. Please don't ever think you would be interfering in what I'm doing. Oh, no. This show is about all of us. And it's so important, so important to give you the best, latest, greatest information. So, let me show you my necklace. Hold on a second. And as you can see, I like putting my necklaces on a really good elastic thread. This I found on Amazon by the spool, and it was a great buy, and it's really tough. Sometimes you'll see these clear, plasticky, spandexy kind of ones. The problem I had with that is makeup, body oils, perspiration degrade the clear plastic, and it'll just break on you one day and all the beads go flying. So I recommend this. I found it on Amazon on a spool, and I highly recommend it. I think I hear a little thunder. So I like being able to put them on over my head like that. I have arthritis in my hands. Oh, honey, do I have arthritis in my hands? I have been having a lot of pain lately, but it makes it very hard to do those little clasps. I do prefer lobster claw clasp over the old-fashioned little ring ones, but still now with my arthritis, I'd rather have something that goes over my head. Make sure you put plenty of knots. Not only do I put a knot on the end, but I usually knot it above the beads. That way, if it does break, hopefully everything won't strip off the beads. This I made with polymer clay. I even forgot to put my bracelet on. And I did a matching bracelet. But I needed a necklace with greens and turquoises in it. And so I made this with polymer clay. And I love it. What I did is I took my junk clay that everyone, if you've ever done polymer clay, you will end up with junk clay. And so I rolled all the beads first in junk clay, made them out of the junk clay, and then rolled the beautiful colors very thin on the like number 6 setting. And then just covered the beads and rolled them back up. Now, I used to want to make lots of necklaces, but it used to be the look where you had to have them all nice and shiny or else it kind of looked funky. It looked homemade, and this still might to y'all, but that's okay, but I still love it. But anyway, now with the matte coloring or just a slight satin look, boy, you can go to town making your polymer clay beads, and you don't have to do all that wet sanding like they've done over the years. And what I found it really makes a difference to make them look pretty and look more professional is I had the rub-on metallic. It's like it's like almost a little bit oily or something. You barely touch it, and then you can rub it on the beads. Let me see if you can see. And see here, I rolled it on the edges of those. And then I had some rubber stamps, but doesn't work for polymer clay. You need a very sharp stamp with deeper impressions. So what I did is I just took one of the tools and I just drew lines and then made a little holes, what looks like little holes, and that way, and then I rubbed a dark metallic, wiped it off, and then rubbed a bronze metallic over that. And so I baked them. This big bead took 60 minutes, about 60 minutes to fully cure. And the other ones, some took 30 minutes. And the smallest ones took 15 or 20. And I baked them at 275 by the package directions. And then I found by a surprise, as I took them out, because I put them all on the same tray, and I took them out based on their size so that they could keep cooking, but that the little ones wouldn't get burnt, because you can burn them. And remember, the fumes, this is non-toxic except when they're baking. The fumes are toxic, so be careful. But I think it would have to be something that's over a period of time. But I like using a special little toaster oven for them, because then I can put the toaster oven outside and I don't have to worry about the fumes. So if you have an old toaster oven you don't know what to do with, make it for your clay and use it outside. But anyway, I've had some of these clays for 20 years. They were a little tricky to kind of They were with any polymer clay, you have to do a lot of kneading and working it through, and you can put it through the pasta maker until you condition it. That's it. Because there's an oil in there that has to be thoroughly rotated through the clay. Well, some of these were a little tricky. It took a lot of time. I had to end up getting out my clay pasta maker. It's pasta maker I only use for clay. And I had to condition and condition and condition it. And then I wanted to mix some different colors because on some of these, the clays itself, I mixed some gold, metallic gold clay, and with the turquoise or blue clay. So this is actually made of 3 colors. One's a little more blue turquoise, the other's green turquoise, and then the bronze beads. And I made them that way so I can kind of wear it with something turquoise or something green. So exactly, it's like developing those glutens in bread. So the more you condition it, the better it is. The more homogeneous it is, meaning all the components of the clay are throughout every bit. So it'll be a stronger clay. It won't break when you're done. So this, I have 12 hours of work in this, but I love it. I'm so tickled. And then I realized I need a necklace in pink. So that'll be something that I work on this week because it's just fun. It's fun to play with. It's fun to make. So anyway, I just wanted to show you. I really, really did it. And here is my bracelet. And I did a little bead like that. And then the other beads. And I put this on elastic too. So thought I would show you that I really made it. And I really like it. Mark said, kind of heavy. But when you put it on, you don't even notice it. But, clay is clay. It's not plastic, so it is clay. But I just thought I'd show you. I'm really tickled. So and the reason I'm so tickled is not because it's like, oh, look at me, I did this good thing. It's stay creative and get through the worry of this corona crisis. This could be tricky, so I'm going to stay busy. It's a tricky time. And I don't know about you all, but if I can stay busy, I don't tend to get as fearful or depressed. And that's the biggie for me, is not being depressed. You will find sometimes the more artistic you are, the more problems you can have with depression. And it's okay. It's part of the territory. And so things that if I can stay busy creating, that is a good thing for me. So anyway, I just love y'all. Y'all are so good for me. You keep me excited about life. You keep me working on things. Yes, Diana, don't we? Oh my gosh. Yes. Well, I have a bunch of pictures. It's time for pictures. And y'all have done such a great job of sending me photos. I can't wait to show you. So let me turn off some of my lights and let's go picture look and turn off my sewing machine. It helps if I talk myself through these things. So, I'm so glad to spend my Sunday with you. Thank you so much. Whoops. Hopefully that doesn't make too much noise. I want to make sure not to hit any buttons. All right. Looks like no, we don't have thick skin. And it just goes with it. It's like I wouldn't want to lose my love of life, my wonder. I don't want to lose that. So I have to know it comes with the territory. So, all right. Here we go. Let me see. Oh, Adele. I can't wait to see what she comes up with. I hope she's here again today. I think I saw her. But this was a cute undersea drawing she did. And even if she didn't make the quilt, I'm thrilled she did the drawing. Wonderful. Okay, let's see. I love our new people. Now here is a listen to. This was a COVID thing that Akko and a group of brass instrument players performed. They each one recorded their own part, and then they were all edited together. But listen to this. Let's see. Oh, you know what? Hold on. I have got an external speaker now. Let us see. I've got an external speaker. So if I plug it in, you can hear it good. I'll back it up. Don't worry. Whoops, hold on. Now, sound quality of this audio might not be the best, but let's try this.
Power on.
Your
device is connected.
Isn't that beautiful? I love that. So hopefully our Akko will be back soon. But she plays, she's a brass player. She plays a type of French horn, a type of small German tuba. Very talented, very talented. So, okay, now I can't wait to show you. Miss Bonnie is now in her new home state, starting her new life of retirement, and I've got some pictures from her trip, and then pictures of her new house. She was leaving her former state of Illinois. I need to get this, hold on guys, I need to get this out of the way. Okay, here we go. Now we can better see. Okay, so this must be from a rest station or a park. So these are pictures she took on her trip down. I love these things. They look like they're made of iron, and they're flatties, cut out. Funk's Grove. Oh, that's cool. That's built into the bricks are made like that. That is awesome. I hope you can see it clearly. My camera lens is looking funny. Okay. And here's Route 66. Oh, that's wonderful. Okay. Blue Star Memorial Highway. It's just so sweet that she took pictures and wanted to share with us of her trip down. And I thought, oh, is that a water stain on the floor? No, it's the shape of Illinois. So that's beautiful. And now here she is. Here's her new living room, just barely set up. I mean, stuff just moved in. And I love it. And then this is a shot of the corner of her living room. And she wanted to show us this because this is the quilt that we made her a year ago. She was such a huge part of our beginning and really supported me. And so, let me see, 10 of us made her blocks and made it up into, I think Diana Wright was the doll baby that made the quilt and quilted it. Talented Diana. So anyway, Bonnie, we're excited. You're settled in. And, well, I wouldn't say settled in, but she's safely at her new home. And now the hard work begins. Setting up, making it a real home. Okay. Oh, yeah, these were Cheryl's blocks. That's right. I do have Cheryl's block. I remember it now, looking at it. Very pretty. I love colors. There's Miss Cheryl's. And here's her latest that she was working on. This is fascinating. And now I've forgotten the designer, but very, very nice. And I love the plaid dog. I love the bird in the tree. I love quilts that have embellishments like sewing around the windows. I love the choices of fabrics. What fun. That's a lot of fun. I love that quilts have come to the point where anything goes. Now, Diana, let's show. Diana has been cooking up a storm. You can tell when Miss Diana is so happy with life. Boy, she makes some great things. These biscuits, I tell you what, I was tempted to jump in the car and drive all the way to Texas for those biscuits. I love biscuits. For years, my biscuits came out like weapons, and I didn't realize that baking powder went bad and you had to buy new. Here is her beautiful chickadee quilt and a gorgeous hanger that her husband Marty welded for her. Isn't that wonderful? So, beautiful job. Her art quilt is lovely. Here is a hearts quilt she's been working on. She's been so busy. So, had a very productive couple of months. And then, this is her Edita Sitar Tree of Life quilt that she had on her frame. There's her frame right there. It's on it. And she does exquisite quilting. I tell you what, if you need a quilt done, I would definitely go to Miss Diana Wright. She is an amazing. Her quilting is beautiful. It is up on a national quilt basis. I mean, if you want to enter a show, she's the one you want to go to. Now look at this scenery. That is her beautiful land. I forget how many acres they have. And it's so beautiful. Luckily, she's in a part of Texas where they actually have trees. So it is absolutely beautiful. Now, I've got another picture to show you of this same scene. We'll see when I get to it, because she had a flooding rain that washed out a good portion of her driveway. When I lived on 10 acres, we had the same thing happen. And we would go down into the ditch and try to dig back up the bank run, because it's expensive to get your driveway relayed. Whoops, I clicked twice. Oh, here is her back patio. They're working on a pool soon, so she already has the patio looking very inviting. When that pool comes in, oh my goodness, that's going to be wonderful. Here is her Alaska quilt, designed by Edita Sitar and made to perfection by Diana Wright. Look at these loaves of bread. Oh my goodness gracious, beautiful. And there is her chickadee art quilt. It came from a challenge on our channel. Do something with birds in it, and look at that. As usual, if Diana touches it, it turns to gold. Here is, I think it was her grandmother's bread bowl. Isn't that beautiful? I love that. That's well used and well loved. This is a Civil War era design quilt that she's been working on. A close-up of her chickadee. Some more food. I think this was chicken and the biscuits. Oh, yum. And look at that huge kitchen. That would be a joy to work in. Some more blocks. And there is the Tree of Life. I'm not sure if you can see the quilted, but it is so pretty. So pretty. All right. Let's see. There's that same quilt in the hanger Marty made hanging outside. The Tree of Life quilt. Beautiful, beautiful. Look at that. Oh my gosh, the quilting really makes it pop out, doesn't it? That's the Alaska quilt. I guess done now. This is a quilt she found in her attic. I love it. She called these an ice cream cone border. Here is the flooded driveway. That is money you're looking at, because unfortunately the water will wash away your bank run. And there's her and Marty out on the boat. Wonderful, wonderful. She works hard, and I'm tickled that she plays hard too. Here's Diane 57 block. Oh my gosh, this is so pretty. Look at this. She used the most colors of any of us. That's absolutely beautiful. Beautiful. Okay. Now let's see. Jamie's. Let's see. Did we have a new one? Oh, this is her hand when she cut her finger. I don't think we have a new one for Jamie yet, but she's busy, I am sure. Here we go. It was Jody's. I've got some great new photos to show you. Here is a photo. Here is the original, and here is Miss Jody's quilt that she made from it. That's Emmett Kelly. You'll remember? Those of an age might remember probably the most famous clown besides Bozo, huh? And then look at this. She did this of her husband. Look at that. And I guess what she did is it's a way. Remember when I was showing you Thursday night the different formats that you can put the photos through so that you can see blocks of color. It helps you see how to take and recreate that. And that's beautiful. Way to go, Jody. Way to go. And you know her Bacon of the Sea, then her Martian. Then there's our Miss Jody. It is so good to see her. So good to see her. And here is, now, we just started our self-portrait quilts. She's already finished her self-portrait quilt. And I love it. So and the reason she has polka dots for her face is right now she's got a little place on her top lip that she's having to treat, and a little touch of cancer from when we all hung out in the sun too much. But with her usual sense of humor, she incorporated that into her quilt. And you notice what she's dreaming of, the quilts that she's made here with us already. Isn't that wonderful? Way to go, Jody. I tell you what, her and Diana, if you could harness their energy, we could power the whole country. Way to go. And there she is with all of the quilts surrounding her. And they're all beautiful, Miss Jody. You are a natural, girlfriend. That's wonderful. So thank you, Miss Jody. I love it. I just wish she lived closer. Oh, be nice. Okay, let's see. I didn't know if I showed y'all Miss Kathleen. She has a really pretty quilt here. Let's see if I love that quilt. So pretty. Let me see if I can look at that up close. Isn't that wonderful? I love it. And I love it. Look, the use of Asian fabrics. Beautiful. Okay, let's see what else we've got here. I think that's all of our new ones, so I'll go to me. And all I really have to show you today is my plants. And I thought I would show you. This is when I just had gotten through planting. There are some cherry tomatoes in this pot. And let me see if I can now find what they look like now. I am shocked at how they've grown. Let me see if this is the one. Look at this. This cherry tomato plant is at the top of the cage. And so I had to go and pinch out the top of it because they are vines and you have to pinch them to keep them bushy and to get them to make more tomatoes, because they'll put all their energy into growing if you don't keep them in check. And here's my favorite little hen. She's a white one and she loves me. And it's not, well, I say she loves me. I love her. She loves me just because of the snacks I give her. She's smart. She's my smartest one. And she sees me. She knows there's something good to eat. Let me see. We'll start this little slideshow real quickly. And so that was that cherry tomato plant you saw the first day I planted it, which it's shocking now that little plant right there is now this tall. I mean, I think it was only 2 or 3 weeks maybe 2 weeks. I know that sounds weird. Whoops. Then my daughter, when she was here, moved this beautiful blue hydrangea. It had been planted behind some great big rhododendrons, and I never got to enjoy it. So when the young man was here working in the yard, she got him to move this up close to the house for me. And as you can see, it's just starting to open up, and I'm thrilled. I think I hear my Mark coming home. It's always a good thing to hear. But anyway, you see that cherry tomato. It's right up to the top. And everything is just growing. This year I got new pots and I bought new bags of soil because I said the plantings were getting tired. Now here are my, I forgot the name of these right now, but these are the regular slicing tomatoes. And I forgot what Becky got me. It's not a normal one I get, but I'm thrilled. Yeah, I tell you what, so many people are going back to the basics that I was lucky to get any tomato plants. Everybody's been buying them up. Here, this is one of my Americana chickens. She lays blue-green eggs. I thought, in fact, no, that one's a black one. Okay. But look at these plants. They have taken off. They're doing beautifully. So I just thought I would show you what my deck is looking like. My little woodland area where I have my platform feeder, and I haven't planted that yet. I've got some hostas to go in there and caladiums. But everything is doing really well. And I planted all of these myself. That's the one thing I do for myself each spring. My daughter went and bought them for me so I didn't have to go out with the fear of the COVID virus, but she brought them to me and then I planted them. I love caladiums. They do great in a little bit of sun or shade, and they're just, with their leaves will just keep growing all season long, and they only get bigger and fuller. This is not the best view of this, but this is a fuchsia plant, and I love that in the plant world, there is a flower that has a purple, deep purple center and a fuchsia pink cap over it. So as that fills out this summer, I can't wait to share it with you. This picture, sadly, is a little blurry, but my impatiens are doing beautifully. They're very happy in their new soil. On my front porch, I got some new black pedestal pots, and these are the caladiums and an impatient in the middle of that. There's the other pot. I have one on each side of my front door. By the end of the season, these pots will be 3 feet tall just for the plants. And here's a New Guinea impatient and a spike. And here is my sweet potato vine and a hosta. And here are the red salvias and the yellow marigolds that need to go on my front flower bed. Once the temperature drops out of the 90s, I'll get out there and get those last few things in the ground. But they belong in the hot sun part of my yard. And I don't do well with that when it's 90 degrees, humid, and sunny. I'll get to it soon. These are the dragon wing begonias that I overwintered. And as soon as I get one more bag of soil, I'm going to repot them and fertilize them, and they will get up to 4 feet wide, and they hang on my front porch. They're beautiful. Right now, it's just a little spindly from the winter, but I'll get it beefed up. And I've got a rose bush that just was past that bloom, but it'll bloom some more, and some Stelladoro daylilies. I love Stelladoros because they just bloom their little hearts out. I love those. And they're in the front yard. Everything in the backyard has to be in a pot because I have chickens. And the chickens, even though they're in pots, they'll still eat them. But I garden in spite of the chickens. But here's that one in 2 weeks that's already grown to the top of the cage. So up here, I topped it, and I'll keep topping it so that it'll bush out. All right. That's it for me. So, let me turn you back around. Whoops. Oh, hold on. I forget how to do this. Okay. Yay. So feel free to send me your photos. I love your photos. See what you're growing, what you're enjoying. Let me get my computer turned back around, get the speaker turned off.
Power off.
If I don't talk myself through this, I'll forget. So I tell you, the older I get, the more I talk to myself. But it's how I keep it all straight. So there we go. We got to see, you got to have a little brass quartet music, and then you got to see some wonderful quilts and a little bit of greenery. Boy, y'all are lucky. We covered bases today, didn't we? But thank you. And thank you very much, Diana, for keeping us supplied with so many wonderful pictures. So thank you very, very much. All right. Any questions anybody has? Anything you'd like to know? Anything I can help you with? Good, good. Oh, yes, I guess cactus must grow beautifully for you. I tell you, I love things like portulacas because they do well in heat and they're succulents. So they know how to hold on to their own water. And that's important in an arid region. But Diana, your garden is gorgeous. Your land is gorgeous. So wonderful. All right. Well, I'm going to check out here and check into my vacation. And I will see you next Thursday, June 14th, I believe. And was that the date? Let me make sure because I don't want to tell anybody wrong. And for y'all who checked in later, June 18th. I will next see you Thursday, June 18th, and hopefully have a lot more done on my self-portrait quilt. So, but I'm gonna take some time off this week, recharge my batteries, get a few things done. I will miss you terribly, but I think it's a good thing for me to get away a little bit. And although I'm in the house, if you're thinking of breaking into my house, I'm still going to be here, so don't. One day we are going to drive up to the Blue Ridge Parkway and take a picnic. And that way we can do it all without any contact and still be safe. Take good care. I hope you have a great week. Do something good for yourself. Take some time for just some quiet reflection, meditation, or working on something that means a lot to you. You mean so much to me. Never forget that. If you enjoyed today's show, click like. I hope you subscribe. I've had a few subscribers lately. It tickles me to no end. Let me know what you'd like to see me do or teach because I'm open to anything. So thank you very much. Take good care of yourself. Please stay safe. I'll worry about you this week if I don't know you're being careful, okay? So take good care, and I'll catch up with you in a week and a half, I guess, a week from this Thursday. So take good care. I'll miss you, but it's a good thing for all of us. Take good care. Do something fun. I will, sweetheart. Bye-bye. I'll still get on the site once in a while and say hi. Take care. Take good care of yourself. Y'all are the best. Yep, you are the best.